We all have moments when emotions take over, moments when pain is louder than reason. And in those moments, we strike matches. We set fire to connections, to people, to opportunities, without thinking what happens next. Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's anger. Maybe it's fear dressed as strength. We tell ourselves we're better off without them. We convince ourselves we don't need them. And so, we walk away from love, from friendships, from family. We say the cruel thing. We make the harsh decision. We cut ties and burn bridges with trembling hands, pretending we're steady. And in the silence that follows, there's a strange sense of power, a false kind of peace. We feel strong. We feel unbothered. But deep inside, a quiet voice whispers, "What if you need to go back?" We silence it. We move on. We build walls around the pain and pretend the ashes don't exist. But life is not linear. It turns, it bends, it surprises. And one day, the very hand we pushed away is the one we desperately need. One day, the person we hurt is the only one who truly understood us. One day, the place we stormed out of becomes the very ground we wish to kneel on again. But the bridge is gone. We burned it. And now all that remains is smoke and regret. We stare across the distance, wishing for a way back. But the road has vanished. That's the moment it hits you. Not all broken things can be fixed. Not all words can be unsaid. Not every door will open again. And in that moment, we're not angry anymore. We're not proud anymore. We're just human, tired, sorry, longing, wishing we had waited. Wishing we had paused before we struck the match. Because now we understand that pride feels good for a moment, but love lasts a lifetime. That silence in the middle of an argument is louder than any shout. That walking away might prove a point, but staying could have changed everything. Oh, but no one told us how fragile bridges are. No one warned us that forgiveness is harder to find when the bridge is burned. And so, we learned too late. We sit with the weight of our decisions, with the sting of words we wish we hadn't said. We scroll through old messages, reread memories, hear their voice in our mind, and age. But we don't say anything. We don't reach out. Because we're not sure if we're allowed anymore. We're not sure if they'd pick up. We're not sure if the bridge is even worth rebuilding. So we suffer in silence. We mask the longing with pride. We smile through the H. We tell the world we're fine, while something inside of us whispers, "Go back." But how do you go back when the path is covered in ashes? How do you rebuild something you destroyed with your own hands? Sometimes, we just stand there, on the edge of what was, praying for a second chance, a do-over, a miracle. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. And if we do, it's never the same. The cracks remain, the scars speak, and every step forward is a reminder of the fire we lit. But if we're lucky, if we're humble, if we have the courage to say, "I'm sorry," to admit we were wrong, to walk barefoot through our own guilt, maybe we get to rebuild. Maybe the other side is waiting, hoping to. Maybe they never wanted the fire either. Maybe they still believe in the bridge. But if not, if the damage is too deep and the silence too long, we must live with the truth that we were the ones who burned the way back. And in that truth is our greatest lesson. Never light a fire you're not ready to put out. Never burn what you might need to cross again, because life has a strange way of testing us. And sometimes the bridge we burn today is the only road to healing tomorrow. It happens so fast. One word, one moment, one emotion, and everything changes. We don't mean to destroy it. We don't plan the damage, but something inside us snaps. And we let the words fly. We let silence harden. We let distance grow. All because we felt something for a moment. Anger, hurt, disappointment. We let those temporary feelings write permanent endings. And at the time, it feels right. It feels like protection, like control, like power. We say, "I don't care." We say, "I'm done." And we walk away. Proud, stubborn. But time doesn't stand still. Life keeps moving. And one day, long after the storm has passed, we look around and wonder where everyone went. We remember the faces, the moments, the love. But now they're just memories, echoes, shadows, and the bridge we once walked on together. It's gone, burned, left behind in that one heated moment. We try to pretend we're fine, that we're strong, that we don't need anyone. But deep down there's a longing, a quiet H, a desperate hope that maybe, just maybe, we can go back, but we can't, not always. Because sometimes, the things we said left wounds too deep. Sometimes, The silence we chose sounded like goodbye. And now, when we reach out, there's no one there. Just a cold emptiness, a reminder of what we lost. And why? Oh, because we didn't wait. We didn't pause. We didn't breathe. We let the emotion drive the action. We gave the wheel to anger, and now we're lost. It's a cruel lesson. One that doesn't scream. It whispers. It creeps in when the room is quiet. When we're alone, when we remember what we used to have, what we used to be, and we start to regret, not just the words, not just the silence, but the impulse, the reaction, the blindness of the moment, because we weren't thinking long term. We were thinking about now, about the pain now, about the ego now, about the need to be right now. And now, we would give anything to go back to that moment and choose differently. To breathe instead of break. To hold on instead of walk away. But life doesn't rewind, it remembers, it records, it teaches, and sometimes it punishes. Not out of cruelty, below, but out of truth. Because we have to learn, we have to feel the cost of letting temporary feelings make permanent choices. We have to sit in the ruins of what we burned and understand what it means to lose what we love. That's when we grow. That's when we realize control isn't in reacting, it's in resisting, it's in choosing calm, it's in pausing long enough to remember what really matters. But by then, it's too late. The call is never returned. The message is never read. The apology is too soft to reach across the distance. And so we sit with it. The weight of our own decisions, the emptiness we created, the heartbreak we caused, not because we didn't care, but because we didn't wait. Because we let a moment ruin something that took years to build. And now, we whisper prayers for second chances, for grace, for mercy, hoping that maybe the bridge isn't completely gone, that maybe there's still a way across. But sometimes there isn't. Sometimes we live with the loss. And in that space below, we learn to never again let a passing storm destroy what the sun once shined on. We learn to choose silence over shouting, stillness over sparks, connection over conflict, because once the fire dies down, we're left with nothing but ashes, and the memory of what we could have had if we had just waited, if we had just listened, if we had just loved a little harder when it was hard. And in that realization, everything changes, not the past, but the future, because next time, if there is a next time, we won't be so quick to strike the match below. We won't let a feeling that will be gone by morning make a decision that will haunt us forever. We always have a choice, to hold on or to let go, to fight or to walk away, to forgive or to burn it all down. And too often, we choose fire, not because we're evil, not because we don't care, but because ego is louder than love. Pride feels safer than vulnerability. So we raise our voices. Below, we close our hearts. We shut the door before they can. We tell ourselves it's strength, that we don't need them, that letting go means we've won. But what if we were wrong? What if winning isn't silence, but connection? What if forgiveness was the strength we ran from? We burn bridges because we're scared. Scared to be wrong. Scared to be hurt again. Scared to look weak. But we forget, ego builds nothing. It only destroys. It pushes away the very people who were trying to stay. The ones who would have walked through the fire for us. But they can't walk through a fire we lit. They can't reach across a bridge we've burned. And when the anger fades, when the shouting stops, when the silence becomes too loud, we feel it. The emptiness, the cost, the loss. And we wonder, was it worth it? Was pride worth peace? Was being right worth being alone? But by then, it's too late. We look back and see ashes where a bridge once stood. We remember the look in their eyes, the words we didn't say, the hand we didn't take. And now, there's no path back, just regret. We whisper apologies in our minds, rehearse the forgiveness we never gave, but the moment has passed, and now, they've moved on. They've healed, they've grown, without us. And we're left with the lesson, that love needs humility, that relationships need grace, that no one stays when pride rules the room. Because forgiveness builds bridges, it holds things together when everything else is falling apart. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. Below, it's not giving up. It's giving in to something greater than ego. But we didn't see that. We were too busy protecting ourselves from pain. Too busy proving we didn't care. And now we care more than ever. We miss them. We miss what we had. And we know, deep down, we destroyed it. Not because they were wrong, but because we couldn't say, I was. So we sit in silence, we scroll through memories, we replay moments in our mind, what we could have said, what we could have done, but none of it brings them back. Because fire leaves scars below, and even if they forgave us, the bridge is still gone, so we live with it, the echo of their absence, the weight of what could have been, and it teaches us, slowly, painfully, to choose differently next time, to hold our pride with an open hand, to speak softly when we want to scream, to stay when it's easier to leave, to forgive when it feels impossible, because love is not built on perfect people, it's built on people who try, who fail, who forgive, and keep trying, and maybe, just maybe, if we learn that in time, we'll save the next bridge. We'll hold the next hand. We'll say, I'm sorry, before it's too late. And maybe we won't have to stand in ashes again, wishing for a way back that no longer exists. Maybe next time we'll choose forgiveness over fire, and maybe that will change everything. It starts so small, a misunderstanding, a delay, a forgotten moment, and we think it's nothing. We think we have time. We think they'll always be there. So we turn away. We hold grudges. We stay silent. We think they'll come back. We think they'll understand. We think they'll wait. But people don't wait forever. Bridges don't stay standing when they're neglected. One crack becomes two. One missed call becomes 10. One cold response becomes permanent silence. And we don't even notice. Not at first. Life gets busy. Ego gets louder. Pride whispers, you don't need them. But late at night, when the world is quiet, we feel it. The gap growing wider. The connection fading. The bridge trembling. And still, we wait. We don't reach out. We don't say the words. We think, maybe tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes never. And one day, we look up and they're gone. The bridge is gone. We burned it, not with fire, but with neglect, with silence, with absence, with everything we didn't do. And now, we stand alone, wondering when it all fell apart, wondering if we could have saved it, if one message, one honest word, one apology could have stopped the collapse. But we didn't send it. We didn't try. We didn't fight. And the worst part, they waited. They waited longer than they should. They gave chances we didn't deserve. They believed in us, even as we drifted further away. And still, we didn't see it. Until it was over. Until they stopped waiting. Until they found peace without us. And now, we remember the bridge. Every detail, every laugh, every moment. It haunts us. Because we didn't lose it to a storm. We lost it to silence. We let the most important bond in our life die, not from hate, but from hesitation. And now, no matter how loud we scream, no matter how much we wish, the echo never comes back. They're gone. Low, and we're left staring at where the bridge used to be, at the memories, the chances, the love, and we itchy. Because now we know the truth, that relationships don't just die, they're starved, they're ignored. They fade when we stop choosing them. And if we could go back below, we would do it all differently. We'd answer that message. We'd show up. We'd say what needed to be said. We'd stop waiting for the perfect moment and make the moment perfect. But time doesn't rewind. It only teaches. And it teaches with pain, with silence, with distance. And now we carry the lesson in our chest, heavy, sharp, and unforgettable. Because the bridge we once had could have carried us through anything, if only we had chosen it, if only we had chosen as them. But we chose ego. We chose silence. We chose fear. And now we live with the consequences every day, every moment, wondering how something so beautiful became something so broken, wondering how something so strong could vanish so completely. And the answer is simple. Below. We didn't fight for it. We didn't water it. We didn't care when it mattered most. And now it's gone. So when you still have someone, choose them, call them, apologize, forgive, build the bridge stronger. Before you stand where I am staring at ashes, holding memories, and wishing for a second chance that never comes.